Imagine a country where breakfast costs less than a stick of gum, where the most beautiful women in Southeast Asia ride motorcycles at 5 in the morning with a smile that wakes anyone up, and where a cold beer costs you 20 cents. It's not a dream, it's Vietnam, a country of 102 million souls that never stops, never sleeps, and will never, ever leave you indifferent. Today, we're going to travel it from north to south. And I'll give you a heads up. There are things in this video you're going to want to watch twice, and others you won't be able to forget even if you try. Vietnam is that country many people can vaguely locate on a map of Southeast Asia, but few know exactly what shape it has. Well, it's shaped like the letter S, a long, thin, winding strip that stretches from north to south like a king cobra resting by the sea. To the north, it borders China, to the west, Laos and Cambodia, and to the east opens the sea with a coastline that seems designed for whoever wants to watch sunsets from a hammock with something cold in hand. Its surface area is smaller than Mexico, but it fits inside 102 million people divided into 54 different ethnic groups. The political capital is Hanoi in the north, but the economic engine, the place where money flows, business never stops, and the party never ends, is Ho Chi Minh City, which the locals still affectionately call Saigon, and you'll understand very well why when we get to that segment. Ah, and one detail worth its weight in gold: 40% of Vietnamese people share the last name Nguyen. If you shout Nguyen in the middle of the street, get ready for a crowd. And if I told you that this small S-shaped country holds one of the most brutal and lucrative businesses in the world, we'll get there. But first, you have to survive the traffic. Forget about the traffic in your cities. That's classical music compared to what happens in Vietnam. The country has more than 77 million registered motorcycles. To give you an idea, it's as if every Mexican had 1.5, and they all decided to go out at the same time without respecting any traffic light. In cities like Ho Chi Minh, motorcycles represent 90% of vehicles. A red light is more of a suggestion. The sidewalk is an extra lane, and seeing a father driving with the mother, 2 kids, and probably a portable cooler behind him is perfectly normal. But here's what's fascinating. What looks like total chaos has its own order. It's like a flock of birds flying in formation without ever having rehearsed. Nobody stops completely, but everyone yields. It's a language without words, an unwritten code that only Vietnamese people master and that any tourist tries to decipher from the curb, frozen like a statue. And crossing the street, pay attention, gentlemen, crossing the street in Vietnam is an extreme sport. The secret the locals share: walk slowly. Steady step, don't stop. The motorcycles will dodge you on their own. Stopping in the middle is a fatal mistake. It sounds crazy, and it works every time. Now, if you manage to cross without a hair out of place, on the other side awaits something that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. In Vietnam, life doesn't happen indoors. The house is only for sleeping. Everything that matters, eating, working, socializing, flirting, happens in the street, on the sidewalk, on a 20-centimeter plastic stool that the Vietnamese call the royal throne. At 5 in the morning, when in other countries the rooster hasn't even crowed, the sidewalks are already alive. Street kitchens are steaming, broths are bubbling, and the women, who make up 51% of that population of 102 million, are already on their feet, selling, cooking, carrying baskets, weaving through motorcycles. They are the backbone of this country and always have been. Even in the war, they carried weapons. And here's a detail that more than a few of you will appreciate. Vietnamese women have the habit of covering themselves from the sun: gloves, masks, and hats. But when they uncover themselves, gentlemen, the story changes completely. The traditional dress, the áo dai, a strip of silk that embraces the figure and flies in the wind, is simply a work of art in motion. Seeing young women in their white áo dai cycling through the old town of Hoi An is the kind of image one doesn't easily forget, even if they try. And what do those hard-working hands place on the low hill? Ah, get ready, because what's coming is going to make you doubt everything you thought you knew about a market. If you think you know markets, the one in your city, Vietnam is going to completely reset you. Vietnamese markets don't just sell tropical fruits, fabrics, and spices. They sell everything that breathes and moves. In the markets of Saigon or in the rural areas of the South, it's perfectly normal to find cages stacked to the ceiling with live snakes ready for lunch, frogs jumping between buckets, eels writhing on crushed ice, and field rats, called rice rats, roasted on skewers with a presentation that, curiously, smells quite good. Yes, grilled rats. And the locals eat them with the same naturalness that others order a hamburger. Protein is protein, gentlemen. And it doesn't stop there. Vietnam has a tradition of exotic animal farms that surprises anyone. Cobra farms, yes, cobra farms, where they raise snakes to sell the meat, the skin, the bile, and even the blood, which is mixed with rice liquor as an energizing tonic. The Vietnamese attribute properties to it that their doctors would never confirm on paper, but that the locals swear work. Who knows? The market in Vietnam is not a place you go to shop. It's a 2-hour show with free admission, where each stall is a different scene, and where the smell, the noise, and the color enter your body without asking permission. Now, if the cobras and the rats already stirred your stomach, the next business is going to leave you completely speechless, because it has teeth. Many teeth. But before we get there, and you'll thank me for it, we have to make a mandatory stop. Because in Vietnam, no serious conversation starts without a cup of coffee in hand. Vietnam is the second largest coffee exporter in the world, only behind Brazil. But here, it's not drunk in a hurry. Vietnamese coffee is a ritual. A small metal filter deposits thick coffee drop by drop over condensed milk. You sit and wait. Then ice. First sip, bitter, sweet, deep, triple the strength of an Italian espresso. In Hanoi, there's even egg coffee, a yolk beaten with condensed milk and coffee with a tiramisu-like texture, served in a glass. For the more adventurous, the famous café chaud, whose beans have passed, well, through an animal's digestive system before being roasted. It's one of the most expensive in the world. The flavor, they say, is priceless. The origin, best not to think about it too much. And if coffee is the heartbeat of the morning, Bia Hoi, the local craft beer, is the heartbeat of the afternoon. It's brewed every day, served in plastic cups directly from barrels on the sidewalk, and costs 20 cents. Yes, gentlemen, 20 cents, with boiled peanuts on the side and the noise of the city in the background. At these Vietnamese terraces, the company director sits next to the truck driver. Here, everyone is brothers. And if you think the cheapness ends with the beer, wait until you see what it costs to live well in Vietnam. The GDP per capita in Vietnam hovers around $5,100 annually. The average salary is between $320 and $335 a month. And for someone traveling with euros or dollars, that means one very specific thing. You live like a king for little. A street meal, $1 to $2. A mid-range hotel, $6 to $8 a night. A grab ride, the local Uber, $2. A full-body professional massage with oils at a decent spa, between $10 and $15. And getting a haircut on the street with a cranial massage and ear cleaning included costs $2. With $50 a day in Vietnam, you have 3 meals, transportation, tourist visits, and nighttime beers. That same amount in any European capital doesn't even cover dinner. That's exactly why Vietnam has become one of the most sought-after destinations in the world. People don't go just for the culture or the landscape. They go because there, for the first time in a long time, they feel like money is enough for something again. Now, if Vietnam is famous for its prices and culture, there's a business that few people know about that moves millions. A business with teeth, literally. Remember when I told you about the cobra farms? Well, that was just the appetizer, because Vietnam has more than 1,000 registered crocodile farms. 1,000. And they're not small. There are ponds with hundreds of specimens stacked as if there's no tomorrow. The Asian Siamese crocodile is practically extinct in the wild. There are perhaps 1,000 wild specimens left in the entire world, but in Vietnamese farms, there are millions. It's the most mind-blowing paradox on the planet. Disappeared outside, industrialized inside. And what is all this for? So that someone in Paris or Milan can carry a bag that came out of these ponds. The leather of a 2-year-old crocodile, the most coveted, soft skin and perfect scales, is worth $400 to $500 here in Vietnam. That same leather with the right logo stamped on it becomes a $30,000 or $40,000 bag. All handmade by Vietnamese artisans who earn $300 a month. The irony of global luxury served on and the cherry on top, the major European brands refuse to put the crocodile's head on the product because it looks too cruel. Using all the skin, perfect. The head, unacceptable. Isn't that considerate? What's left of the animal goes to traditional medicine, the crushed bones to treat bone diseases, and whatever's left of that goes straight to the farm's own restaurant. Grilled crocodile ribs, $8. Nothing is wasted. Absolutely nothing. Now that you know the rawest side of the Vietnamese business world, let me show you the side that takes your breath away for completely different reasons. Vietnam is not just noise, motorcycles, and business. It's also a nature that cuts your breath. Ha Long Bay, whose name means where the dragon descends to the sea, is a spectacle of miles of limestone islands that emerge from emerald waters. No photo filter does it justice. To the north, bordering China, is Sapa, with its terraced rice fields of such intense green they look like stairways carved toward the sky. And then there's the best-kept secret, Sun Dung Cave in Phong Nha, the largest cave on the planet, so immense that a 40-story building could fit inside it, and it has its own interior ecosystem, jungle, river, its own climate system. It's like a world within a world. A custom few people know. In Vietnam, it's tradition to bury ancestors directly in the rice fields, under the belief that from there they continue watching over the harvests. Vietnamese rice fields are literally land of the living and the dead coexisting in harmony. Now, to truly understand Vietnam, you have to go where the country keeps its deepest wounds. Vietnam is not a country that hides its history. It carries it with pride, like scars that are shown, not covered up. The Cu Chi tunnels, 70 kilometers from Saigon, are a labyrinth of more than 250 kilometers dug by hand, where Vietnamese soldiers lived, fought, and operated on their wounded under the feet of the American Army without being detected. They're so narrow your shoulders brush the walls, so low you have to crawl on all fours. And that's the section open to tourists, which has already been widened so we can fit. In Saigon, the War Remnants Museum tells the part of history that Western books tend to skip. Tanks, planes, and photographs that no one should see without something moving inside them. Many people leave with wet eyes, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. If there's a people that understands what it means to survive centuries of pressure without losing their identity, it's Vietnam. China dominated them for 1,000 years. France colonized them for almost a century. The United States fought one of the hardest wars of the 20th century against them. And here they still stand, with their 20-cent beer and their smile that baffles everyone. And to close this journey, there's one question that never fails among those who've already been here. When are you coming back? And football, because football unites everything, is a shared religion. At 2 in the morning, Saigon's cafes are packed watching the league. Real Madrid and Barcelona have millions of fans. If you want to break the ice with any Vietnamese person, Barca or Madrid. The conversation lasts hours and ends with a shared bia hoi. As night falls, Saigon lights up with blue and purple neons. Bui Vien Street vibrates with an energy reminiscent of the most famous party districts in Europe, but with its own stamp. beer on the sidewalk, instant cocktails, open-air DJs, and motorcycles passing through the crowd right in the middle of the pedestrian zone. Dance and dodge them at the same time, gentlemen. And to top off the night, or the day, depending on the hour, the Vietnamese massage. 1 hour from head to toe with oils and expert hands, between $10 and $20 depending on the place. In Mexico, you'd pay 10 times more and you'd hardly come out as renewed. Vietnam is not a destination. It's an experience that is going to change your perspective on many things. And if you made it this far, you already know the world still has many corners just as incredible waiting for you. The next video is right there on screen. Don't miss it. I'll see you there.